Hello, I'm Super Orange Cat, and here I'm today talking about Toonami's ratings from this past Saturday, February 3rd, 2024. Now, let's start at the top of the block. At the top of the block, we have Demon Slayer at a 0.10. Then we have the season finale of Doctor Stone at a 0.09, followed by Lycoris Recoil at a 0.08, One Piece at a 0.08, and Naruto Shippuden at a 0.08. So, not that many changes from last week's ratings except for every show not named Lycris Recoil went up a little bit, and Lycris Recoil held the same. And really, the notable thing here is Dr. Stone. A week after almost being built on by Lycris Recoil in the demographic, it's now a full 100th of a point over Lycris Recoil in its last week on the air here at Toonami. As we know, next week we'll have Ninja Kamui coming in at midnight, with Demon Slayer being bumped back to 12:30. So it'll be interesting to see where the ratings are with that. But again, this was a pretty decent week. The real winner of the week again was Dr. Stone. Interesting note here. Even though it won the demographic over Lycris Recoil had a greater number of total viewers, admittedly by only 1,000 by Nielsen's estimates. I just found that to be interesting, which implies that Lycris Recoil, a greater proportion of their fan base is outside the target demographic being people aged 18 to 49. So maybe that means there's slightly more older people really into Lycris Recoil, or maybe slightly more younger, like teenagers, into Lycris Recoil. It's most certainly the latter. But I just found that to be pretty interesting. Another interesting note, Naruto Shippuden and One Piece both had a 0.08 and both had, according to Nielsen's estimates, 133,000 total viewers, albeit by the demographic. By an teensy beensy margin, Shippuden actually built on One Piece, probably by within just literally a handful of people. And I'm not even using that as like a exaggerative weight. It might literally be like 5 to 6 people might be the difference. But Naruto, I guess, of a good week because it built on the show in front of it, albeit at least slightly. And the rankings in terms of cable premieres for that Saturday, Demon Slayer was 32nd, Doctor Stone 35th, Lycris Recoil 42nd, Naruto Shippuden 43rd, One Piece 44th. So that means that Lycris Recoil was also very close to the other two as well. It almost got built on by both those shows. And again, Lycris Recoil starting to remind me of Yashahime, and that's another anime where three leading characters were all female. I keep forgetting these shows were on Toonami, mostly because most of the shows that do for that category were forgettable. But Yashahime, where one week would build on, and then the next it would be the lowest rated show on the block. There would be no real consistency in the ratings. It'll be interesting to see where the ratings go from here, especially the next few weeks. I don't want to say any spoilers, but if you liked some of the more action scenes, the more faster paced moments in Lycris Recoil in the first few episodes, you're not gonna like the next few weeks, if I remember the episodes correctly. I definitely remember from the promo that showed the 4th episode that it's, in my opinion, maybe the most notable episode, not for any plot or for any lore, but a very well-known meme that's still occasionally shown, used to this day, came from that episode. And if you watch the episode, you will know what it is exactly when you see it, or particularly when you know where they're gonna go in that episode, you'll be like, "Oh, that's where that meme came from," you know? But again, you know, it was an okay week. I mean, I can't point at a single show here and say it's bad, but it'll be interesting next week. Doctor Stone, we're saying goodbye to it now. Demon Slayer will be pushed a little later to make way for another Toonami original, Ninja Kamui. And if you look at Toonami's originals in terms of ratings, they do not have a good history, especially the recent years, with both Fully Cooley Grunge and Alternative doing quite poorly in the not alternative, grunge and shoegaze doing quite poorly. And for the standards at the time, the other two sequels didn't really do that well as well. I mean, Phantom Pirate Princess didn't do that well. Black Lotus was a black hole in the ratings. That one I particularly remember doing poorly. The only Toonami original I can think of that did great in ratings, or I said consistently did above expectations, was probably Shinmu. And that one was setting up for season two, but because, the whole tax write-off thing, we're not getting a season two of that. So we have Ninja Kamui. I've watched the promo trailer Toonami put out of it. I'm not impressed. I can't think of a single thing that show does from the trailer that's distinctive or gives an identity. Like, you can talk all day about, like and I've talked all day about how much I generally dislike the Fully Cooley sequels, especially grunge and, progressive. They had an identity, though, and I'll have to give them that. But, again, what do you guys think? This is a pretty alright week for ratings on Toonami. What do you leave your comments, leave your opinions down below. I'm Super Orange Cat, and that is all.